Hello, how is everybody today? I hope you all had a nice weekend, um, and I hope everybody's doing okay. So, today, let's continue with our English classes. All right, because it's a new week, and we are going to continue. Okay, anyway, so let's get to work. Today we are on page 40 in the Pupils book, okay? And we've got a reading and a listening exercise to do, okay? This is what we shall do. So if we're on page 40, okay? So we have an article here to read, all right? And it's about going really fast. Now, those of you who drive or have ever been in a car, have you ever traveled really, really fast? I think everybody knows one person at least who drives like an absolute maniac. So yes, I'm sure lots of you have experienced going very, very fast in a car or maybe on a motorbike. Do you enjoy going fast or do you get scared? Everybody's different. Anyway, this is what today's text is about. So, before we do anything, we'll have a look at the text, all right, and look at some vocabulary. So the text says, the title is, I'm John and I'm a speedaholic. Okay, a speedaholic. Now, if you don't know the word speedaholic, okay, this is a term we would use to talk about somebody who is addicted to going very fast, right? High speed, okay, hence the word speedaholic. Now, we use the word holic, right, on the end of things to indicate somebody's got an addiction, okay? A common word that you may know is alcoholic, right? So an alcoholic is somebody who's addicted to alcohol, okay? Or you may have heard the term chocoholic, right? Somebody who's addicted to chocolate, okay? Like myself. This is about a speedaholic, someone who is addicted to speed. So people who just have to go really fast all the time, okay? Now, before we read, we're going to have a look at this glossary, okay? It's just a couple of terms that you may not be familiar with that is used, okay? So we have two words for speed here, okay? So the one you know probably is, hopefully is the rate at which something moves or travels, speed, right? How fast is something going, all right? 100 kilometers per hour, 50 kilometers per hour, all right? What is the speed? Now, the other word for speed, as we can see here, all right, is a drug, right? Speed is the name of a drug, an illegal amphetamine drug, okay? So when the title says speedaholic, right, it's not about drug addiction, okay, just to clarify that. Let's look at the next term here, points on your license, okay? So your license is your permission to drive, okay, your driving license. Okay, and if you, well, it's similar in many countries, okay? So if you commit an offense, okay, so if you do something, if you break the law when you're driving, all right, in the UK, if you do this, you may get penalty points on your license, okay? If you get more than 12 points in 3 years, you can be banned from driving, okay? So when you do something bad on the road, they give you some points. And when you get to 12 points, right, then you have to stop driving for a little bit. So that's what points on your license mean. And the last one, some of you Spanish motorcycle fans might know the name, Valentino Rossi, an Italian motorcyclist who has won 9 Grand Prix World Championships. Probably one of the greatest motorcycle riders of all time. Okay, Valentino Rossi. Okay, anyway, that's just a little bit of pre-vocab before we do the reading. All right. So what we'll do is we'll read the whole text, all right, all together. Think about a couple of questions here, and then I'll let you do the main exercise on your own, okay? So let's read. I'm going to read it all together. I will read it with you. So it says, I'm John, I'm a speedaholic. Addiction therapy is the new way to stop speeding bikers and car drivers. John Earl is 25 and addicted to speed. Not the drug, but a mixture that is just as powerful. An intoxicating combination of high-powered engines, testosterone, and youth. It's not the speed exactly, he says. It's the adrenaline. It's the buzz you get when you go fast. All right. But if you regularly drive at 120 miles per hour or 190 kilometers per hour on a public road, sooner or later you're going to get caught. And today, John is one of a dozen speeders attending a new program designed to cure them of their need for speed. It's similar to, all right, we'll skip these gaps and we'll come back to them later. It's similar to, at the beginning of the course, the participants are asked to introduce themselves and admit that they have a problem. Hello, my name is John and I'm a speedaholic. The Speedaholics course is for serious and habitual offenders and is offered as an alternative to getting points on your license. Right? Points on your license. It is based on research into the attitudes of young drivers and bikers, says Chris Burgess, a psychology lecturer at Exeter University who created the program. There are courses for both car drivers and motorcyclists. There is an element of addiction in this sort of behavior, says Burgess. It's sensation-seeking, it's taking risks, looking for that buzz, but ignoring the potentially fatal consequences. Okay? They all have the feeling that, All right, we'll come back to that later. Today's course, which is for motorcyclists, is led by Inspector Robin Deggers, a police officer who is a senior investigator of road deaths and a keen biker himself. After introducing themselves, they range in age from 18 to mid-40s, and most were caught doing at least 20 miles per hour or 36 kilometers per hour over the speed limit. So that's 36 kilometers per hour more than what's allowed. Durgus gets straight to the point. Motorcyclists make up just 1% of all vehicles on the road, but 33% of all deaths and serious injuries happen to motorcyclists. Unless something changes, if we meet up here in a year's time, one of you will be dead. Says Durgas. We want to give them a sense of their own vulnerability, their human limitations, and to help them make a realistic assessment of the risks involved. It's not about stopping people from enjoying riding, it's about preventing deaths. Toward the end of the day, he asks, The problem is that people get on their bikes and suddenly think they are Valentino Rossi, says John. There we go. Standing in the car park at the end of the course, the bikers seem to have taken everything they have heard very seriously. John admits, it certainly made me more aware. I know I sometimes behave like an idiot, but that's not to say I won't forget all about it in a few weeks' time. Burgess knows this. It is to remind them of a part of the course that explained what can happen to the brain in a collision. The idea is that they will see the key ring when they are riding, and it will make them think twice, says Burgess. This is a key ring here. This is the thing you put your keys on. Right? You see the picture here, the brain inside the head. Okay. Good. So, what did you think? So, before we get into the main exercise, we've just got a couple of questions to talk about. Okay, so the first question here says, what two alternatives are offered to speedaholics if they get caught? Okay, so what we just read, what two things can happen to a person who's going too fast on the road and the police catch them? Okay, two things that could happen. And the second question is, what's the main thing that participants learn on the course? Okay, now to answer these questions, we're going to go to our notebook. All right, so if we go to our notebook, and we'll put the title Speedaholic. Right, why not? Speedaholic, and the date today is Monday, the 6th of April. Okay, and we'll just put page 40 here so we know which page when we're looking through our notebook. All right, so what I've done is we can just answer the questions in sentences. So I've given you the beginning phrase here. So Let's look at the first question. What two alternatives are offered to speedaholics if they are caught? Well, if speedaholics get caught, what are the two things that could happen? Do you remember? Well, if you remember, they get points on their license. Yeah? Remember, like we said at the beginning, so if they get caught, they can get some points on their license, right? And if they get to 12, they have to stop driving. Or they can attend course. Okay, so they can go to the course instead about driving, about the risks of driving really fast. Okay, so that's what we can write for our answer. All right, if speedaholics get caught, they get points on their license, or they can attend a course. Our second question. Our second question is, what's the main thing that participants learn on the course? What do they learn? Take a bit of time and write your answer if you need. What do they learn on the course? What do they teach them? If you need to, go back and read again. Okay, so hopefully you have some kind of answer that's similar to this. Participants on the course learn, basically they learn that that there are a lot of risks in driving fast, okay? Basically, if you drive fast, you could die, right? Participants on the course learn that they could die and there are lots of risks. There are lots of risks in driving fast. Okay, so basically they learn, that driving fast is very risky and they could die. Okay, so you can either copy my answer or you can have your own answer. Okay, and we can check it later. All right, but basically this is what they're learning. Okay. Anyway, right, we won't worry about question 3. Okay, so that's kind of like an introduction to the main exercise. Now, before we do the main exercise, which is here, we've got some highlighted words in the text. Okay. Now, what we'll do is I'll just tell you what these highlighted terms mean. Okay, and we can copy them down in the notebook. And then when you read again, okay, you should have a better understanding. All right, so let's go back to our notebook. All right, and we'll put here vocab from reading. All right, there's a little heading. All right, now these are the 6 terms that are highlighted in the text. All right, so you can copy this down. Okay, and you have the term and sort of like a definition here, and I'll kind of explain each one. All right, so the first one, it says the buzz you get. All right, which basically just means a really good feeling. All right, if you get a buzz, right, that means you've a really good feeling, normally from adrenaline or endorphins. Okay, so driving fast can give you a buzz, but people get a buzz from all sorts of different things. Right, it could be driving fast, could be playing sports, could be doing exercise. People get a buzz from going out with their friends, which we can't do anymore. But yes, it's just a buzz is just a really good feeling that you get. Okay. So you can copy this down in your notebook. The second one is habitual offenders. Habitual offenders. Okay, so an offender is somebody, a term we use, somebody who breaks the law. Okay, and habitual means that you do it all the time, right? Like a habit. So it's just somebody who consistently breaks the law. People who consistently break the law. Habitual offenders. Yeah. So a person who steals cars, they get caught, and then they steal more cars, and then they get caught, right? They're a habitual offender. Okay, so you can copy this in your notebook. The next one is potentially fatal consequences. Okay, basically, what you're saying is that somebody could die. Okay, if something has potentially fatal consequences, somebody could die. The next term is get straight to the point. Now, this is a very common expression in English, right? It means when you're talking, if you tell someone to get straight to the point, or if you say you'll get straight to the point, it means you directly talk about the things which are important. Okay, so you say the things that are important. Get straight to the point. All right, so if you're explaining something to somebody, all right, if you get straight to the point, you tell them exactly what they need to know, the most important things. Okay, and you don't worry about all the other stuff that's not so important. Okay, get straight to the point. Say what's important. The next one is a sense of their own vulnerability, right? To give people a sense of their own vulnerability. All right, so that's all that is just the feeling that that you could get hurt, right? That you're not invincible. Okay, so this is maybe something that they try to give to people who attend this course for driving too fast, right? A sense of their own vulnerability. So just the awareness and the feeling that that if they do something very risky, then they could die, all right, or they could get hurt, all right. And the last one is take something very seriously. I'm trying to get rid of this thing here. To take something very seriously. Now, if you take something seriously, that means you think something is very important. Okay. So, for example, hopefully you take English classes very seriously, right? That means you think they're important. All right. So, copy this. These notes in your notebook. Okay. And hopefully now you have a better idea of these expressions. Okay. When you've done that, then we can go back to our pupils book. Okay. And we can start with the main exercise here, which is exercise C. All right. Now, in this exercise, you're going to have to read the article again. All right. And you have to insert these phrases into the article in the correct place. All right. Now, this is similar to, there are similar exercises on official Cambridge exams, okay, about sticking in a missing sentence into a text. So how do we do this? Okay, what are some good techniques? Well, in most texts, okay, they're separated into paragraphs, okay? Now, each paragraph talks about a specific thing, all right? And in each paragraph, you'll have something called a topic sentence, okay? Normally, it's the first sentence of a paragraph. And what this does, this basically introduces the idea of this paragraph, okay? And then the following sentences, the following phrases sort of give examples and explanations of this, okay? So I'll give you an example here, all right? Let's look at this paragraph. It says, the Speedaholics course is for serious and habitual offenders and is offered as an alternative to getting points on your license, okay? So this paragraph is going to be talking about the course, okay? Because that's basically what it's introduced us to, right? That's the first sentence of the paragraph. It's talking about the course for people who drive too fast, all right? Explaining what it is. All right, so we can find the topic sentence in each paragraph, and we can get an idea, right, of what that paragraph is about. This will help you, okay, find the missing sentence. Okay, that's one way we can find the missing sentence. Okay. Now, secondly, okay, you have to read what comes before and what comes after the gap. Okay. So you have to make sure that it makes sense grammatically, but that also that it fits in to the context of what's being said. Okay. So if we look at this example, right, it says, John is one of a dozen speeders attending a new program designed to cure them of their need for speed. It is similar to, right? So it's comparing the program to something. It's similar to something. What is it similar to? Okay, we can read our answers, okay, and we can get an idea. All right. When you think you have the right answer, okay, read through the paragraph again. All right, read it all together and make sure that it sounds good and that it makes sense. Okay. So, all right. So you've got five spaces to fill, 5 sentences. And also, as always with any reading exercise, you can underline important words in each sentence, okay, to help you. And also in the paragraphs. All right. So on your own, okay, I want you to read through the text again, okay, and put in the missing sentences. All right. You can pause the video while you do this. Have you finished? Brilliant. Okay. So I shall give you the answers. Okay, I shall give you the answers. Let's have a look here. Okay, so I'll just put down the answers here. All right, so C, D, A, E, B. Okay, did you get all of the answers correct? Okay, make sure you have it correct in your book. If you made any mistakes, okay, read again and try to understand why you made that mistake and why that answer is not correct. Okay. If you got all of them right, well done. Well done to everybody. Okay. Good. Okay. So now that we've finished this, we can go to the next part, which is a listening. Okay. Continuing with the same topic, all right, of dangerous driving. Let's have a look what it says. Okay, it says, you're going to listen to an expert talking about the risks of driving. Before you listen, choose which you think is the right option, A, B, or C. Compare with a partner and give reasons for your choice. Okay? So you put what you think is the correct answer, just based on common sense. Okay, this is a useful technique in listening exercises. Okay, because what it does is it gets us to read the questions. It gives us an idea of what questions are being asked, what we have to listen out for. Okay, and a lot of the time, a lot of these answers are sort of common sense anyway. Okay. So let's have a look, okay? And before we listen, you put what you think is the correct answer, just based on your common sense. So let's see. Number 1, the most dangerous thing to be on the road is a pedestrian, a driver, or a motorcyclist. Now, if you don't know what a pedestrian is a person who is walking on the streets, okay? Just people walking. So they're not driving, they're just walking. These are pedestrians, right? A driver, someone driving a car, or a motorcyclist. Well, I think it's a motorcyclist, all right? But that's just my opinion, based on my common sense. What do you think? Let's read number 2. Most fatal accidents happen because drivers... So why do people get into accidents? Drivers fall asleep at the wheel. The wheel is the thing used to turn, okay? So fall asleep at the wheel. Drivers are drunk, drinking too much, or drivers drive too fast. What do you think is the right answer? Me personally, I think it's probably because people are drunk. I think it's a big problem. But, we have to listen and find out. Let's look at number 3. Driving at night is as dangerous as driving during the day. 3 times as dangerous, 4 times as dangerous, or 10 times as dangerous. How much more dangerous is it to drive at night? 3 times, 4 times, or 10 times? I have no idea. I would say 3 times. But we have to listen and find out. Number 4, you're most likely to have an accident on a Monday morning, a Friday afternoon, or a Saturday night. When is the most likely time to have an accident on the road? I think it's probably Saturday night, because that's when a lot of people go out and that's when a lot of people drink. But That's my opinion. We have to listen for the correct answers. Let's continue. Most accidents happen on long-distance journeys, so when people are driving for a long time, in the city centre or very near your house. Where do you think most accidents happen? When you're driving long distances, in the city centre or near your house? I actually know the answer to this one, so I'm not going to say anything. But make a mark and put what you think. All right. Number 6, the worst roads for fatal accident are, so what are the worst roads for accidents? Motorways, urban roads, or country roads? Okay, motorways are the roads that you go really fast, okay, autopista. Urban roads, so roads in the city, or country roads? Which are the most dangerous? Which are the worst roads for fatal accidents? My opinion would be country roads. Okay, because there's probably less people and people respect the rules a little bit less and they probably drive very fast. But that's my opinion. Number 7, mile for mile, women have more than men. Okay, women have more minor accidents than men, women have more serious accidents than men, or women have more fatal accidents than men. I have no idea. I guess minor accidents, but I could be wrong. And the last question. The age at which a driver is at most risk is over 25, between 21 and 26, or under 25. Which is the most risky time for a driver? The most risky age? My opinion would be under 25, right? Just because younger people probably don't drive as well, have less experience driving, and probably not as responsible. But again, my opinion, we have to listen and put the correct answer. But okay, you can certainly think about the questions beforehand, all right, and have an idea of what the answer could be. Okay. Anyway, let's listen and do the exercise.
2.44. For most of us, the riskiest thing we ever do is to get into a car and drive. And as this is something that we do almost every day of our lives, we need to take the risks involved in driving very seriously. Sandra, you're an expert in road safety. How dangerous is driving compared to other ways of getting around?
Driving gets a lot of bad publicity. Statistics show that, mile for mile, it's riskier to be a pedestrian or a jogger than to drive a car or ride a motorbike.
But car accidents do happen. What's the main reason?
50% of all fatal accidents occur because someone has broken the law. The most frequent cause of fatal accidents in the UK is driving too fast, and the second most frequent is drink driving. And the third major cause of fatal accidents is when a driver falls asleep at the wheel.
Is that very common?
Yes, it is. A surprising 10% of accidents are caused by this.
Tell us about some of the other factors that can increase our chances of having an accident.
Well, the time of day we're on the road is a very significant factor.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, driving at night, for example, is 4 times as dangerous as during the day.
Mm.
This is mainly because visibility is so much worse when it's dark. By day, a driver's visibility is roughly 500 yards, but at night, driving with headlights, it can be as little as 120 yards.
Are there any times of day or night that are particularly risky?
Research shows that you're most likely to have an accident between 5 and 7 p.m. during the week. That's to say, during the evening rush hour, and especially in the winter when it's dark. And the day of the week when you're most likely to have an accident is Friday. In the UK, more accidents happen on a Friday between 5 and 7 p.m. than at any other time.
Why do you think that is?
It's probably because people are finishing work for the week and are rushing home to start their weekend. Their mind may already be on what they're planning to do, and they may not be concentrating 100% on the road. So, this is a time of the week when car drivers need to be especially careful.
Which brings us to where accidents happen.
60% of accidents happen within 2 miles of where we live. Statistically, the most common kind of accident is crashing into a parked car near our home. Research shows that drivers concentrate less well when they're driving on familiar roads. Fortunately, most of these accidents are not fatal.
So what about fatal accidents? Where do these tend to happen?
As far as fatal accidents are concerned, the riskiest kind of road to drive on is a country road. Almost half of all fatal car crashes in the UK take place on country roads. In fact, you're twice as likely to have an accident on a country road than on an urban road.
And why is that?
Drivers often think that it's okay to break the speed limit on these roads because there's less traffic and, consequently, they take more risks.
And the safest kind of road to drive on?
A motorway is by far the safest kind of road.
People, usually men, say that women have more accidents than men. Is that true?
Well, it is true that, mile for mile, women have more minor accidents than men, but a man is twice as likely to be killed in a car accident as a woman.
So men really are more dangerous drivers then?
Women, by nature, are usually much more careful and cautious drivers than men. In general, men take far more unnecessary risks when they're driving than women.
The age of a driver must be an important factor too.
Yes. In fact, it's probably the most important factor. A driver aged between 17 and 24 has double the risk of having an accident than an older driver. The reasons for this are obvious. This is the age when drivers have very limited experience of driving, but it's also when they're most likely to drive too fast and take unnecessary risks, particularly if there are other young people in the car.
Which is why a lot of people would like to see the age limit for having a driving license raised to 21.
I think it would be a very good idea.
Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much for coming into the studio today, Sandra. And to all you drivers out there who are listening, drive safely.
Okay. Very good. Okay, could you understand it? All right, were you able to get all of the answers? Okay. Now, if you want to, you can pause the video and go back and you can listen again. Okay. You can listen twice, all right, and try again to get the correct answers. All right. Okay, good. Is everybody finished? Let's look at our answers then. Okay, so the most dangerous thing to be on the road is a pedestrian. So people just walking on the street. Okay. Most fatal accidents happen because drivers drive too fast. People driving too fast. Driving at night is 4 times as dangerous as driving during the day. Number 4, you're most likely to have an accident on a Friday afternoon. And they said when people are coming home from work. Most accidents happen very near your house. Okay. Number 6, the worst road for fatal accidents are country roads. I got that one right. Mile for mile, women have more minor accidents than men. Okay. And the age at which a driver is at most risk is under 25. Okay. So those are our answers. All right. Make sure you've got all the correct answers highlighted in your book. Okay. Good. All right. So once you finish that, we can finish for the day. Okay. Now, if you want some more practice doing readings like this, all right, we can go to, or let's see what else they have. Okay. Well, if you want to, you can go to page 27. All right, in your workbook. Okay, we have a reading here we can do. And then, but yeah, otherwise, that'll be it for today. Okay. So the next class, which will be on Wednesday, is going to be a live class. Okay, so we're actually going to do class all together, so we can actually talk to each other. Okay, so that'll be at our normal class time if we're in the academy, which will be at 4 o'clock. Okay, you should have all the details. All right, but I look forward to speaking to you all on Wednesday, and then and we can, if you have any questions, you can ask me then. All right, so that's it for today. Okay, I hope everything was okay. I hope you could understand. All right, and I shall talk to you on Wednesday. Bye bye, everybody.